It's time for Everything Noob, your source for all things gaming.
Another week and another edition of the Everything Noob podcast. I am Vortak. You'll find me on YouTube and Twitch doing my thing. And I run a Minecraft community that has lately seen a whole bunch of changes.
I'm Jamie, and I'm succinct and punctual.
And I'm Dreadlow, and I'm just the hopeless YouTuber who doesn't put YouTube videos up.
You're about the
From
worst
Dreadlow
YouTuber.
Gaming. Yeah. Yeah, and
You're like those people who start
podcast.
Twitter accounts looking for shout-outs from big YouTubers going, I'm going to start making videos soon.
Yeah.
Shout me out.
But
That's it.
I feel like that hits close to home somewhere for me, too.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, this week, we let you guys know last week that the theme for this week is going to be all about gaming mods, gaming modifications, if you will. If you don't know what that means, basically, pretty much any game can be modified by someone who knows what they're doing. So some developers will offer their gaming code to the community, and the community will go ahead and make all kinds of crazy mods for it. And we, this week, wanted to talk about some of our favorite gaming mods. A lot of discussion about Minecraft is going to come up, Skyrim, things like that. So sit back. Thanks for joining us this evening. And yeah, I think I'll kick us off by talking about something that's kind of related to all of us if you ever play on the Vortex Community Minecraft server. We just implemented the Factions mod on our server.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Now, that's actually an older one, but I'm sure that it's probably a lot better now.
Is that like guilds or?
Yes. Any player can come on, and it's just like regular old Minecraft, but now PvP is on the server, and people can come on and make their own faction, invite their friends to join it, and then those people can go and claim land and build up their faction. So you get... It's kind of weird because like you get power by being online and not dying, and you can have up to 10 power. The more power you have, the more land you can claim, and I guess just the stronger your whole guild is. And then you start battles with other factions, and you can loot their stuff after you're done.
So if you're part of the same faction, you can't kill each other.
Exactly.
That's cutthroat.
You can ally with other factions. You
can
enemies.
ally.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good. That's going to make it fun.
Now, is the allegiance like a man of honor, and you honor the word of we won't attack you if you want to attack us, or is it an actual like physical like we're allied with them right now and we hit the checkbox?
Exactly. You get allied with them, and you just cannot attack them.
Oh, okay. So there isn't this honor among thieves backstabbing business that can go on.
Yeah. As far as I know.
I guess they could always leave the faction and then kill each other.
The leader of that faction can just type enemy.
Leave the ally.
And just decide that we're enemies now. And then we can kill each other.
Now, what if somebody... Okay, now I know this on the Rust server, there is a thing that's similar to factions, but it's not exactly the same. But you can, if you're not part of a group, or let's say a faction in this case, if you're not part of a faction, are you vulnerable to attack?
Yes.
Okay, see, in the Rust server that I had factions, but if you weren't part of a faction, then PvP was off for you. So you couldn't be killed, and you couldn't kill them. So it was like basically like a non-PvP for them. And then if you were in a faction, then other factions can kill you, and you can kill them.
Well, the cool thing about this mod is we can set it to do that.
Yeah.
We just haven't.
Oh, okay.
Probably ought to, because that'll turn people away who are not interested in the PvP aspect.
Yeah, we've been playtesting. We're going to be playtesting all week on our server and getting people's feedback, because a lot of people claimed that the game was getting boring, and Minecraft does tend to get boring, which is why mods are so cool. So we decided to just try this and see how people like it, and we're just trying different things to see what the community enjoys the most. It's better than like putting up a poll on some obscure forum that they're not going to see. We just get their feedback instantly. We're on the server, and they're like, "Oh, I hate this," or "Oh," and many people actually like it. I was surprised. So we're still kind of wondering if we're going to keep PvP on for non-factioned people.
And what about MCMMO? How does that work with factions? Because I know that when I played one of your mini games one time, because I hadn't been on the server in a long time, my MCMMO level was very low. So like when I'd shoot an arrow, I'd have to shoot like 4 or 5 arrows at somebody to kill them.
Yeah.
whereas a person can hit me with one arrow and boom, I'm dead like that. Because the MCMMO was interfering, which I think you've already fixed. You fixed that.
No, we left it that way because we thought it'd be cool if people trained their skills, and then they'd be better at minigames. But MCMMO also works the same way. So, for example, one of our admins has been training his unarmed skill, and he prefers to fight with no weapons, and he just punches people to death in 2 hits.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome, huh?
Yeah, he's actually weaker with a sword.
That's crazy.
So he looks like he would be easy prey, but he's not.
Exactly.
Wouldn't it be cool if MCMMO like pumped your arms up, made them look bigger in the game?
See, and that's the one problem with Minecraft mods, is that if you want a nice server like the one we have, there's 2 types of like plugins, which kind of means mod, same thing. You can have plugins that just add features to the game, like factions, and you can faction and ally with people. Or you can have ones that actually do alter the appearance of certain things, but those servers are a lot harder to run because they just take up so much more hard drive space, and you end up having less people online because you have to use your resources to support these other types of plugins. So,
right, because they use more memory.
Yeah, you don't see as many big Feed the Beast servers because those are Forge plugins rather than bucket plugins, and Forge ones are the ones that you'll see a lot of altering of textures and things. So if you could make a Forge plugin that makes your arms beefy, but it's just going to be among a whole bunch of other Forge plugins and kind of a pain to run a server that way. And then the problem with Forge is the player has to download a mod before they can come onto your server, whereas our server,
they'd have to have one.
You just have regular Minecraft and you jump right in, which is great.
That's something that Mojang is working on too. They're making plugins and mods the same, so that way, you know, if you don't have a particular the mod and basically mods and plugins are going to be one and the same. So if you've got if a server has factions, then you have to actually have factions, and it automatically download when you go into the world. Yeah, I guess that's how they're going to do it.
We're all hoping that the future of Minecraft is bright when it comes to modifications, because that's the biggest aspect of the game these days. When Mojang's not updating it and adding things, people are on modded Minecraft. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Which is crazy to me because there's no other game I've played that has mods that's like that for me. I don't go into I'm trying to think. Grand Theft Auto has a lot of different mods that you can add to it, but I don't play Grand Theft Auto and think, this is boring. I want mods. I play Grand Theft Auto, I beat the story mode, I do some extra things, and then I move on to the next game. Minecraft has this longevity, and you need mods to stay interested.
Yeah, it's really interesting too. I think if there are developers out there, the worst thing they can do is not allow mods in their game, or not support mods, because I think mods make the game last longer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it really does, I think.
Minecraft's a great example of that, but Minecraft has, as a sandbox game, it's gonna hold people's attention just a bit longer because it's like you make your own story, you make your own, it's your game. There's not really a fight to achieve this achievement and go kill this guy, and there's no quests. You know what I mean?
But I love getting the "you got wood" achievement over and over and over in Minecraft every time I reinstall it, or
every time you log
change
on
versions.
to a new server.
It's so satisfying because it's just never-ending achievements. They need to fix that for real.
They do. It's really funny when new players come on the server, or someone's new. Like a new person's there, you're like, oh, I haven't been on in a week. I wonder if this person's like really new or been here a while. And then it says taking inventory. So that's an achievement for opening your inventory.
Right.
Which is ridiculous to me. You hit the letter E. Congratulations.
On a server, everybody sees that. Yeah. Oh, you got taking inventories, for the 20th time in your life, in this server's life. Because if you reset the server, I would imagine that goes away and it restarts.
Yeah.
Somebody might not know how to do it and might feel really good about opening their inventories for the first time.
True.
I hit like every button, and E was the last one I hadn't tried.
I rolled my face across the keyboard and got an achievement.
Achievement get face roll.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. Yeah. I remember when the achievements first became like a public thing over the chat. Every time someone on our server got an achievement, everyone would type GG or congrats.
Yeah.
So someone get an achievement, and so it was right when everyone was playing for the first time in a while. And so you had like 10, 20 people online already, and then everyone's opening their inventory and doing all the stuff. And so it's just constant like grats, GG, GG. Spamming the chat.
Yeah.
Like, guys, he killed a cow. There's nothing to congratulate.
Wait for the harder achievements at least.
He didn't get diamonds for the first time.
Now that is a GG.
Yes.
So should we kind of explain what a mod is? Kind of by the wiki, what it says. Just a little bit of a definition of it, so that people that might not understand what we're talking about.
Oh, he kind of explained it. What does the wiki say that I didn't cover?
Well, it says a mod or modification is the alteration of a program code of a video game in order to make it operate in a manner different from its original version. Mods can be created for any genre of game, but are especially popular in first-person shooters, role-playing games, and real-time strategy games. And most of the time, they're done by outside of the developer. The developers don't actually do it. It's like people like you and me are the ones who actually create the mods for these games.
Dem aimbots.
Aimbots. Oh my gosh.
That's why first-person shooters are the most popular for modifications, because people want them aimbots.
That's what kind of makes a lot of developers hesitate in allowing mods for their games, or not just allowing, but like supporting it, because people come up with stuff like that.
You know what's funny is when a developer doesn't support the game modifications, but someone figures it out anyway, it's called a hack.
Yeah, it's called a hack.
But it's not, it's this horrible thing when really it's, Call of Duty, you'll see it in the most. I remember I played Call of Duty on the Xbox or PlayStation once, and all of a sudden, like, it started raining supply crates.
Wow.
And I'm in an online game where you're supposed to be playing and there's ranks and stuff, and supply crates are just raining from the sky, and people are just pissed because someone hacked in and just started, cheating.
Yeah,
nice.
It gets terrible, especially when it's multiplayer. If there's any mods out there that carry over to multiplayer, it kind of ruins it for everybody else. Especially when it's like aimbot and stuff like that, where people hit you with one shot. Those are the kind of mods we don't like.
Every time I play a single-player game, like the Battlefield campaign, I always feel like my opponents are aimbotting.
Yeah, I do too. It seems like it.
Really?
Sorry.
Can I pose a question though?
Yeah.
Which do you prefer to mod more, single player games or multiplayer games?
When I was younger, for me it was single player, but as of late, it's been multiplayer for sure. It's because it's more fun to share those experiences with your friends. But
yeah.
I remember there was Halo Custom Edition for the PC, and that added some crazy stuff to Halo. And that was also multiplayer too.
Well, I know, like Halo, when you kill somebody, it makes like fireworks or something, right? There's that.
They added that in. That's part of like.
Oh,
the
that's
gear
actually part of the
that
game. I thought that was a
wear.
mod.
Bungie was kind of like Mojang in that sense, where they would see something they liked that a community member did, and they'd put it in the game, which was so fun.
That's funny.
My favorite Halo Custom Edition thing was the Pelican, because the Pelican was never a ship you could drive around because it's a big ship. It was in the story mode as a transport ship, and you'd see it in cutscenes, but you'd never actually drive it. And Halo Custom Edition made a drivable Pelican where you could actually take a tank or a Warthog and have it under the Pelican and drop it down and fly away. And then people could ride in it as well. So they'd make these really big maps where people could fly the Pelicans around. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, back when I was a loner, single player loner.
Now, could you argue this point here? Like for instance, you got modifications that people develop outside of the developer, outside of what the developer does, and then you've got modifications that the developer actually does. Would you consider that DLC? So when a developer does mods, it's actually downloadable content. But when an outside person does mods for a game, it's a mod.
Well, yeah, because it's official release.
Would that sound about right?
But usually they don't modify the system to work in a different way than intended. They usually work within the realm of what's already there.
Right.
And it's just like an extra sprites or another story that's within the same game mechanics. It's just there's a new area with recycled textures.
Well, it's a kind of a fine line. I mean, if you look at Mario Kart 8, for example, they're going to release, if they haven't already, a DLC where you can download Mercedes-Benz Mario Karts.
Oh gosh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Now, if the community had done that, it would have been a mod because it's a visual thing. Even though the carts would still do everything the other carts do, it would have been a modification because a community member did it. But since Nintendo's doing it, it's DLC. So I kind of see what you're saying.
No, it's selling out. That's what that is.
Yeah, of course. But Nintendo kind of needs it right now, and Mercedes are cool. So I'll drive one, and it's free. It's not like I'm paying for it.
Principle, I will never, ever... Nope.
Oh, come on.
Nope.
It's a Benz.
That kind of commercialism, no, can't do it. That's just too blatant.
Mario's days of plumbing finally paid off.
Have no business in Mario Kart. Take that to Need for Speed or what's the other? Gran Turismo. Just get it out of Mario Kart.
Could you imagine modding like Super Mario or something?
People do that
on Nintendo.
You know, actually,
awesome.
Nintendo next year is going to have a way for you to create side-scrolling Mario levels on your Wii, and that's going to be a lot of fun, like level editors.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
See, that's modding in a sense, I guess.
You won't see a lot of Nintendo mods.
No.
Right? I mean, Nintendo just kind of closes the doors. They don't really share anything with anyone.
Well, they don't really make anything besides console games.
Ooh.
And it's kind of harder to mod on a console versus a PC.
Slightly off topic, did you hear about the Pokemon trading card game coming to iPad?
Yeah.
Yeah, like an official, finally, outside the realm of Nintendo console, comes a Pokemon game. And people are kind of freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, but it's just a copycat of like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering, which have had huge popularity. And they're like, oh, well, we can do that. Because the Pokemon trading card game is actually still very alive and popular. And like, oh, well, we'll cash in on that same like model that's already out there.
Could you imagine modding that? Adding your own cards?
That actually kind of would be fun.
That would be a hack. Make up your own cards.
Yeah.
GG-mon.
GG-mon.
Instant kill everything.
Just a chainsaw that's always running.
Yeah.
And you try to hit him, you just die.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's about the extent of Pokemon these days, though. They're not very creative anymore.
No.
Looking at you, Trubbish. It's a trash bag. Look it up.
Don't be down on Trubbish.
Come on.
So
it's literally
you guys.
It's not his fault.
It's a bag of trash.
You guys want to know what like the number one most successful mod of all time?
Yes.
It's called Defense of the Ancients.
Ah.
Warcraft 3's mod, Defense of the Ancients, which is Dota. That's where you get Dota from.
I hated that mod.
Legends came from, and ever since then, now it became it's a genre now because of that.
Well, just like TF2 was a mod at one, or Team Fortress was a mod, and now we have TF2, which is a standalone game.
Yeah, it was an actual mod.
A lot of those out there. But Dota, I didn't know that Dota's origin. This is how terrible of a nerd I am. I didn't know Dota's origin was Warcraft. Just
really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I never bothered to look because the first MOBA game I found was League of Legends, and I didn't like it. And people were like, "You might like Dota. It's just like League of Legends." I'm like, "Then I won't like Dota." But Smite has captured my attention actually, and which is also a MOBA game, but it's just done well in my opinion. Anyway.
I remember doing
but
Dota like right when it first came out as a mod for Warcraft 3, and I was just like, I knew exactly what it was, right as I was playing it. I'm like, why in the world would anybody really like this? And then it exploded, and I'm like, why? And I'm on the outer rim. I don't understand the fascination. I don't find it fun.
And it's funny because Blizzard kind of left it alone. They didn't have a problem with it because they gave us the tools to make stuff like this.
Absolutely.
Then you've heard about the guy who made the StarCraft mod that's similar to like World of Warcraft, where it's a first-person StarCraft thing, and Blizzard went ballistic over it.
You know why? Because my prediction has always been the next Blizzard MMO is going to be StarCraft because it's in space and you can do a lot with space, whereas WoW...
Yeah.
That's my prediction, but I could be way off base. But if they freaked out that much, that's when I started to think, I might be right.
Yeah, they were coming up with reasons. They said, well, because you're using the StarCraft name... because you're using actual characters or whatever. They came up with all kinds of excuses of why. But then the developer of this mod was basically saying, but hey, you gave me all the tools and you told us that we can do anything we want, we can mod it however we want, in the way we want, and this is how I modded. I used nothing but your tools to do this. And so for a while there was a problem. And then Blizzard started to, support it in a way and kind of allowed it. It was weird. They kind of like changed their tune on it.
What was...
So I don't know what it's called. I don't know what's going on with it. I haven't even looked it up. I should have. That would have been great for the show because it is a mod.
Look it up here. I'm kind of curious about what Jimmy was going to say about World of StarCraft.
Well, I was reading an article this weekend or found an article and stuff, and while I always felt like their next MMO would be Space of StarCraft, there has been a possible leak that the next MMO Blizzard does is not going to be StarCraft, but in fact, WoW 2.
What? What?
A sequel to World of Warcraft. So it'll be in the Warcraft universe again.
Stupid.
Wow.
My first opinion of that is stupid.
I hate you, Blizzard. I hate you.
Really, if I'm sorry, WoW fans out there, but every DLC that comes out is an extension of the game and the story. Unless you really follow the story, a sequel is wasted on that because they've spent all this time improving on what's been there, improving the graphics, improving the gameplay, improving quests, improving all these things. We already have Warcraft 2, you know? We don't need World of Warcraft 2. We need something new. You know, what could World of Warcraft 2 offer that a
that
DLC
could be completely
for
different.
World of Warcraft couldn't, you know?
A brand new game engine allowing for things that they cannot do in their current game engine.
But is it still going to be run around, do a quest, reap reward, run around, until you hit level whatever, and then you go fight forever? Is it still going to be that?
That may be a limitation of their game engine, and that's why they want to redo it. All I know is the cinematic for the new expansion pack was very deliciously beautiful. And while I still don't care about the game, it looks better than the Panda expansion pack.
They're what do you call it? But you just said the word, and now I've lost it. The
Mr.
videos.
Pandera?
No, the videos for their...
The cinematic?
Yes,
the
cinematics.
VMU, I think
Their
it's called.
cinematics have been good since, like, the dawn of that company, I feel like. If you go back and watch Warcraft 2 and their cinematic, even that was good. It kind of holds up. I mean, it looks kind of crappy now because of the resolution itself, but on an old monitor... it looks really nice. You'd be impressed with how well their cinematics were. They've always been really good with cinematics.
My favorite cinematic is the Diablo 2 cinematics. Oh, I love that storyline.
Those were good too, yeah.
I just feel like they should give up making games and then just go to writing movies
They're
and
making
doing
a movie.
cinematic movies. I know they are, and I'm sort of want to see it. I'm really curious because I know visually it'll be very beautiful and the story will be very digestible. But then again, it's going to be Warcraft, so it's like... oh.
Okay, I got information on this now.
Okay.
Okay, so it was going to be called World of StarCraft. And
Space of StarCraft is so much better.
basically the first paragraph says, so
World of
apparently it's
outer
not
space.
cool. So apparently it's not cool to make StarCraft mods with the StarCraft mod kit, or at least not if you call them World of StarCraft. And so there was a bunch of a lot of the copyright infringement stuff had to do with Activision, because I guess Blizzard and Activision are partnered, or Blizzard
Activision
owns
bought
them,
Blizzard,
or
and
Activision.
then Blizzard
yeah.
bought Activision while under him. It's a complicated acquisition.
So there was some problems there with the company and seeing World of StarCraft and didn't like it. So they were having some issue about it. And then I'm guessing the community just went ballistic on Blizzard about this. And so now it's called StarCraft Universe, and it's a massively multiplayer online styled mod for StarCraft 2, so you have to have StarCraft. And Blizzard actually has it so you can launch the mod from their client.
Wow.
So they're actually allowing it and everything now.
That's support.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad that it all worked out the way it did, because that looked like an awesome mod. I mean, seriously.
I'd be interested in trying that since I own StarCraft 2. It wouldn't cost me any money to try that.
No, I wish I had StarCraft 2, but I don't.
Nope,
I have
refuse.
StarCraft 1. I got the
StarCraft
first
1 for life.
Yeah.
That's the one and true StarCraft.
Did you know with StarCraft 1, if you had burned the game, I learned this because I had friends there was a big family, like 5 brothers and sisters in this one family. So, and they all played games. They were all really close in age. So they had a bunch of computers, and they had one copy of StarCraft. Their dad burned it for them several times. And if you take the game, put it in a computer, you'll get that code, that screen for the code.
Yeah.
If you type in random numbers about 20, 30 times, eventually one will take. You cannot play online with it, but you can do LAN parties.
Yeah.
Wow.
Their CD key code wasn't very complicated, and the actual original StarCraft game did not have a CD key, but the expansion pack did.
That was it, yeah. So they had like full-on LAN parties for StarCraft all the time because, and I'm like,
I'm sure
I
it's
don't
an
have
algorithm.
StarCraft. They're like, don't worry about it, just come over. We'll hook you up, and they did it for me. I'm like, I can't believe how easy it is to bootleg this game.
Well, it was old. I mean, back then they didn't really have. I mean, Windows. You know, when you got Windows, you could put in. There was an algorithm with you put the year and then some kind of algorithm that was set up that you can figure out mathematically for the next letters and numbers, and then the last numbers were just random, and it worked every time to install Windows 95, Windows 98, yeah, and then they got smart on it. Now you have to activate online, but.
Or you don't
yeah.
have Genuine Edition.
Yeah.
The Genuine Advantage. That's what it's called.
Would you consider like Warcraft and StarCraft being moddable games if they offer you the tools? They call them map editors. Would that really be modding, or would that just be editing?
I think it's just editing custom maps.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, Warcraft 3 is the one that came out with that, with the editing pack, or whatever you want to call it, the mod pack. I don't think they called it a mod pack back then. It was some kind of workshop or whatever, some kind of editing workshop, and that's how you got Dota. And it was the same thing with StarCraft 2. When StarCraft 2 came out, they came out with this kit so that you can mod StarCraft 2. World of Warcraft, you can already add mods to it, and add-ons that you can put on, like HUD,
Yeah.
new HUDs and things like that, and you can make the HUD so it's more, I mean, think about it, going into a raid in World of Warcraft, and you're a healer, and you use the vanilla UI, the HUD. That would be like, what the hell? That would be impossible. You'd have to click on all the individual actually, you'd have the nameplates on the side, but you have to click it. It would be a mess. So they came up with a HUD mod or whatever that you can use, so it's a lot easier for a healer to be able to go from each player to heal them.
Yeah.
So.
Isn't that called Healbot?
That's
I think so.
Healbot.
I don't know. I know that Healbot was a very popular healer mod for.
That was
Warcraft.
my first experience with Curse. Actually, was mods with World of Warcraft, and the first one and the only one I ever really got was the Quest Helper. And that would basically just
that's
give
helpful.
you directions on your minimap as to where quests, your next location for that quest was. And then eventually WoW added that in.
Added it. They actually added
They
that,
kind of do
yeah.
the same thing where if they see people are always getting this one plugin, they'll add it in themselves. Be like, here,
Right.
just stop.
Well, it is a kind of a security risk, because you can put in ways to steal accounts and mods and stuff, and there is a lot of malicious mods. So please be careful when you mod, especially if you're doing an MMO or something. So by just doing that, they can control it. They can control exactly what you get as well. With help, they can be like, it's somewhere in this area or it's this exact location.
Yeah.
As well.
Curse was cool for that too, because at first they were having some issues because people would get their little hacks through Curse, and so it was always recommended that when you start your game, that you exit out of Curse. You know what I mean? So that Curse is not actually running while you're playing the game, and then I guess that eventually those security glitches and stuff got fixed. But Curse was excellent, and I think even now they've got tons of games on there that have mods on there that you can actually add to all the different games that you might have. They have that I know of, there's like 3 or 4 games on there. You just install Curse client and you're able to get any of the mods that you need for those games, and it installs for you. You don't have to fool around with, like in Minecraft. What do we got to do? We got to jump through a bunch of hoops to add mods, Well, actually, it's a little easier now. You just throw them in a folder.
Yeah.
But you still have to have Forge. You still have to do all these kind of wacky things to get a mod on Minecraft. So Curse made it a lot easier with a lot of these games. So all you do is just click, oh, this looks like a good mod. Click install, and automatically installs it for you.
Yeah. These days, my main experience with games and mods is Minecraft for sure.
Yeah.
I just saw a mod spotlight, actually. The poop mod.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yep. The poop mod.
Ashley
poop.
Marie. That's actually an old mod. I think Chimney Swift did a mod review of that a long time ago, like about a year and a half ago.
Really? I saw one from...
He put it on he made a wall, and he put a poop block in the wall. He says, I got poop on my wall. Yeah, he made a big joke about it.
You can make the blocks of poop, and then you can make it so they become like super poop, and they're
Super
indestructible.
Poop. Yeah, indestructible.
And the way you get
Tried
the
to
poop
blow it up with TNT.
is you craft a toilet, and then you craft toilet paper, and if you use the toilet paper on the toilet, you get poop toilet paper, which is, I'm guessing that's you wiping. I don't know.
It's pretty gross.
I don't know why they didn't.
It's not called poop, by the way. It's called the other word.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't make it so you would have to eat and actually have to go to the bathroom. That would be, if I made the poop mod, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And then it just collects in a bin that you craft down below the toilet?
Yeah.
You use a hopper and you collect the poop.
You create a little septic system there.
Yeah. And you have,
Gotta go
why not
empty
have
the septic
pee
tank.
too. What the hell?
It can
Gotta
back
have
up
pee.
and
Pee and poop.
poop's coming out
Oh.
of the ground.
It's dirty water flooding your house.
Back up the septic
Brown
system.
water.
If you get it in that clean water, all the fish die and like come up to the surface.
Oh.
You could pee in a lake or whatever, and it turns yellow.
This is what I want to see in Minecraft.
And when you drop poop blocks in the ocean, right? They float.
Yeah.
Do they?
No. They'd be the only floating block in Minecraft. We're just saying this would be great ideas if we did this. Don't give me any ideas, because I'll get in there code and I'll fool around with it.
Just not sand and gravel.
Well, you'd probably use the boat script for the floating block. Don't get me going, because I could do it. I know I could. I could make poop float in the game.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's not really that controversial, but there are some pretty crazy controversial things. Kind of the whole reason this theme came up this week was a big controversy with Grand Theft Auto. They had a mod release for Grand Theft Auto that got people kind of riled up.
It should.
Yeah, it's comparable to another instance, though. I'll let you take this one, Jimmy.
Basically, it's a mod that is for online play, and it is a rape mod. Now, there's some other things you can do in this mod, but you can teleport other players to you and force them to bend over while your character will rape them. And it's not like they can just walk away or whatever. Like, they are locked in until you release them. And they can teleport everybody on the little play server, or I don't know, instance, I guess you would call it, straight to you. You can make a pole dance, whatever you want to do. Which the pole dancing I kind of laughed at, but the rape thing, that is really serious, and I get nervous when people make mods like that because we already have a lot of people trying to play Grand Theft Auto for our massive amount of youth gun violence, and there's the discussion about rape culture. I don't want to step into that too much because I don't want to bring accidental negative activity to our cast or the discussion, but it makes me nervous, and I really frowned when I saw that the community was some of the community was really behind this mod and thought it was funny and hilarious.
Well, the thing that I disagree with is the fact that a person doesn't have a choice. You know what I mean? There's absolutely no choice. They're just teleported there and
rape.
Yeah, that's the definition of rape. I mean,
but I mean, if they were to have it to where, if they make the mod to where something pops up on the screen, like a pop-up that says, "This person wants to animate your character." I mean, we see that in Second Life.
That's
Second
consensual.
Life, people try to animate.
It's like slipping you a roofie.
Yeah, well,
they don't tell you what they're going to do.
You don't call it rape. You just call it consensual.
Oh gosh.
See,
consensual
whatever.
Doing
Here's the thing, people get really offended. I stand on the side of it's kind of just a video game. It's not like people are. You have kids, they're not. To them, it's just kind of funny. It's not like you're creating rapists. You know what I mean? If you decide to become a rapist after playing Grand Theft Auto, it was probably going to happen eventually without Grand Theft Auto's intervention.
Well, I look at it this way:
I agree totally
what parent in their right mind would let a kid under the age of, say, 17 play Grand Theft Auto?
See,
you know what I mean?
So
there you go.
Not only are you letting a kid play Grand Theft Auto, you're letting them get so far into the internet that they discover how to download these plugins, and you're not monitoring them at all.
Yeah.
That's the side I stand on. I mean, whether you agree with the mod's presence in the community or not is a whole other story. I just think it's there. It's, whatever, download it or not. If you're offended, don't download it. There are certain people who aren't offended by it and certain people who are, and that's understandable. But if you're going to try to use that as leverage to get Grand Theft Auto pulled from shelves, it's not going to work, and you should just be a better parent.
Exactly. I just think here's the thing. Like I said, if I had the option to participate or not, I would be fine with a mod like that. The problem is that they're forcing players that are playing. The only option for somebody to do is to log off and go on a different server or whatever, different instance.
I'll say this too, just any parents out there. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. I don't want that thought to linger though too long. For any parents out there who are I let my 15-year-old play Grand Theft Auto. I'm a terrible parent now. I've got Grand Theft Auto when I was when did Vice City come out? Does anyone remember? It was 2004?
I know I was in high school and I was in love with it.
I was in middle school when I got Vice City. And it didn't turn me into a serial killer. My parents taught me the definition of right and wrong.
Well, you just haven't been caught yet.
Well, no, they knew what it was. They got it for me.
I'm kidding.
They're like, we know you're not, a bad kid or anything like that. And as long as you understand that you don't go around cussing and, acting like that, we'll get this game for you. That, in my opinion, is fine. But don't then turn around and say, oh my gosh, there's rape now? You got to research this.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is a mod. This isn't part of the base game. And I imagine Rockstar is going to do their damnedest to patch this out. Now, I know they've been really slow on updating the online version, but this is a lot of bad press, and they already get a lot of bad press, and they don't want to be pulled from shelves, and so they're going to do everything they can probably to get this out, because they could care less if you did it in single player, but in multiplayer, it's kind of, you have to be a little more protective of what you do. And because you can force other things going on and not just reuse of or creative use of animations that were already in play in the game.
Available, right?
Yeah, because that's how it is possible. Those animations were available in some other DAT file, so they've just kind of worked that in there. They will find a way to lock that out during multiplayer play, I'm sure.
Yeah. It shouldn't. I mean, overall, I mean, thinking about what I just said too, it really probably shouldn't be there, just because it's true. It was on the game on the shelf. If a parent did do their research and decide, okay, I'll explain to my kids why certain things in this are bad, but I'm going to let them have it anyway. You know, if you do all those things right and they still manage to get into the modding community, I mean, that does suck. There's you can't watch everything they do, which is they get into mischief. It's fine. But I don't know.
No, let's turn this.
I
Let's
agree
turn this.
It shouldn't be there. But I also am like, if you're someone who's downloading it willingly and knowing what it is, don't get offended. Just uninstall. You know.
Let's play. I'm going to play devil's advocate right now.
It's a sensitive subject, so that's why I'm.
What if somebody came up with a plugin? I mean, not a plugin, but a mod for Minecraft
that did the exact same thing.
People would probably just like try to downvote it and get all upset, and
well, server owners would probably be able to block it for one thing, because we have that ability. That's one thing about having a Minecraft server, is we've got pretty much quite a bit of control over what comes on our servers. So it's a little bit different than, say, Grand Theft Auto. But
when you put it that way, it sounds like a rape hack, not a rape mod.
I would say it's a hack, because if you can teleport other players
online,
and
it's
stuff,
a hack.
it's more of a hack.
I consider it a hack. If the server owner has no control over that mod, because the server, if it's a plugin or an add-on to a server, it should be server-side only. But this guy is managing to be able to somehow manipulate it to where he can teleport players on an online environment and force them to do things, which I think that's more of a hack.
I come to the defense of Grand Theft Auto a lot, mostly because of people. Every time a new Grand Theft Auto releases, you have that like legion of moms who come out of the woodwork and try to like stop its release, which isn't going to work. And things like this make me upset because, one, that's more bad press for Grand Theft Auto, and two, people getting offended have the choice to like try not to be involved.
But even if it wasn't offensive, though, wouldn't it be annoying? Seriously, I mean,
absolutely.
You're playing the game. You and your friends are all playing a game. You're doing a quest not a quest, but like a mission or whatever together. And all of a sudden, you get teleported somewhere. And this guy just keeps. Could you imagine that? Keep doing it, like, basically becoming a troll.
I'm not agreeing that it should be in the game at all. But it seems like people are more offended by the fact that what the mod is a rape mod, and not a teleport you and annoy you mod, which is really what it comes down to. Whether you're offended by rape or not, it's the fact that like you're being teleported and you can't continue in the game because these people are just trolling you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm disagreeing with. If someone made that in single player though, and people were standing up, it's like, I don't think rape is a cool thing to make fun of at all. But that's when I would say, just don't download it. But yeah,
well, like I said, if they had a pop-up that said, "Would you like to participate in this? This person's trying to animate your character. Would you, yes or no?" If you say no, you opted out. He can no longer do that to you.
Yeah.
But everybody else, he can do it to. If they say, "Oh, I want to check what this is," yes, and then when he clicks yes, that's it. He's trolled through until he logs off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How is it perfect? The mod is the pranker, downloading it, not the victim. So that's why what I said before doesn't really hold up. So I apologize for that. But the articles I've seen about it are more or less people offended by the fact of what it is, and that's when it's like, well, you have to understand, like, even if it was a single player thing that you willingly downloaded, you downloaded it.
Yeah, but you're right though. If somebody was to actually log in to Grand Theft Auto 5 and not download anything, they're still subject to this mod because it was actually the pranker who was actually downloading this mod, not the actual victim.
Yeah.
In this case.
Anyway, what I was going to say originally though is this kind of compares to back when Hot Coffee came out for Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
But that was already in the game. That wasn't like a mod someone added.
Yeah.
Somebody just found a way to access it.
They put it in the game and hid it, and someone found it, and people
Yeah.
got really offended.
But that's because it was sexual content, and here in America we view that as highly offensive and adult only. And but that is depicted as consensual, and that's kind of like the line here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's
While graphic, it was consensual
It was.
in context.
yeah. It just kind of depends on I don't know. I think a lot of this the reason I get fired up when I see stuff like this is just my defense of Grand Theft Auto and parenting like being part of the issue. Don't get your kids Grand Theft Auto and the problem is solved.
But they
Yeah.
whine a lot.
But they whine and
What's
they'll forget
that?
about it if you get them something else. I mean,
But all their friends will be playing it anyways. So you might as well just buy it so they can play it at home.
Did you guys know this?
what?
I didn't know this. I just found out that the Stanley Parable is basically a mod of Half-Life 2.
You didn't know
Yeah.
that?
It originally
didn't know
was
that.
a mod of Half-Life 2, and then they created their own game of it.
That's crazy. I did not know that. Yeah.
Well, you got me all off topic.
I'm sorry. I just.
I mean,
threw that
I
'cause
enjoy that
saw it.
nugget. But
I saw it right
like,
now.
where do I go with this?
Yeah, Stanley Parable was definitely a Half-Life mod. A lot of standalone games have come from mods, which is really cool.
There's been a lot of great mods just from Half-Life. And Half-Life 2 Counter-Strike was a mod.
Yeah, Counter-Strike is a huge
I didn't-
franchise now.
I didn't know there was a multiplayer mod for San Andreas. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Did
Only
you?
on PC. That
Yeah,
sounds
there's a
crazy to me,
multiplayer mod.
like, single-player games that become multiplayer.
How do you
I don't know.
play that multiplayer?
I don't know. It's downloadable. I can download it right now if I.
I mean, I'm sure that make the gang wars a lot easier.
Interesting. I'm just looking at all these mods on this website here.
Well, anyway, I wanted to get into our before it got too late, our indie spotlight.
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of getting to that point in the show. Last week we didn't get to this indie game, and we all played it and really enjoyed it. But this week's indie spotlight is Words for Evil, and it's going to be linked in the show notes as always. Awesome game. The concept is this: you have a character, like an RPG character, side-scrolling, and in order to progress, you have to match up words. It's like a crossword kind of puzzle. Well, not a crossword, but a word. It's a word game.
It's a
Yeah.
word jumble. What is the board game there? You shake up the little thing in the.
I want to say Boggle or.
I think it's Boggle. Yeah, it's kind of sort of that, but they have to connect. Like,
yeah,
closely.
and there's colored letters depending on the character. You can have up to 3 characters playing at the side by side with each other, and you control all 3 of them. And each one has a different colored. I want to call it dice
tile.
and
make it a
and so
Scrabble
you want to
tile.
be able to make words from tiles, and if you make them all with one color, then special powers and abilities get shot out from the character, that particular character for that color. It's pretty cool. And you want to work fast, so you're just making 3-4 letter words. You're not trying to make a big old like super long like
But
10 letter
that's how
word.
you get the Hadouken move.
Oh yeah, that's how you get the real big moves. But
The better
It's
you
pretty
are
cool.
at grammar is basically a strong suit in this game. So,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
like terribly slow at that game.
I'm so bad.
I watch my health just tick down. I'm like, I can't find a word.
yeah, I've shuffled a few times. just to
My
get-
my blocks aren't next to vowels.
yeah, it gets harder as you go. As you level up, it gets harder to find
Yeah,
vowels.
hit that shuffle button.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
there's
constantly hitting shuffle, trying to find letters to match up with different words, and it's a fun game though. It really, what I like about it a lot is that it's a mind game, and it's also an RPG. So
yeah.
you know kids can play it, and it's sharpening their mental skills while also adding an RPG aspect to that.
Right.
I love
Yeah,
that.
it was definitely a learning game, I would say, because it even included definitions for some of the words that you would create to open the treasure chests and stuff.
Yeah. That
But okay, so we're talking. You were in contact with the developers on this one, and maybe you can answer the question because I went to the website and I poked about and I couldn't find it. This is a kind of game, and it's for download for PC and Mac, and it wasn't for mobile devices. This is the kind of game I would never just sit down and play normally on my PC, but I would absolutely like adore it on like my phone or my tablet while I was laying in bed going to sleep, or just like
That's
sitting in
interesting
the
thought.
bus station or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I just like I didn't see any notes that he was planning to port it to mobile, because I really feel this game would shine on like a mobile device.
I completely agree. I didn't see anything.
Even like the window shape was very like it's made for a phone or a tablet.
Yeah. I didn't see anything in the emails I got saying that it was planned for mobile. But the developer is really easy to contact. I could probably ask. Go
ahead.
He just has it for PC right now. That's all I was going to say.
When you first start the game, it starts out like it looks like a phone.
And Mac.
I mean,
Yeah,
not a
that's what
phone,
I'm
but
saying.
the
It's
size
like-
looks like a phone. I'm going,
It's the resolution
I want a
of
widescreen.
a phone.
Yeah, I want a widescreen. How do I get widescreen? And then I found out how to make widescreen, for me to play on the computer. But it starts you out like that. It'd be perfect for the phone.
You're right.
It would totally be perfect.
You're absolutely right. It even has that weird resolution where it's like really long, and you're like, "What's going on the screen?"
Why is it like
Exactly.
No,
and I was like, is this because he's planning mobile development, or is he just bizarre?
I
this would
hope
go
so, because
nuts on there.
that'd be a great mobile game. You could
Oh,
put
yeah.
that under like 2 different genres in the Apple Store.
I would be
mean-
so addicted to this game on mobile.
Oh, that would be it. We gotta suggest that to the developer.
Well, if you want to
That would
see
be
what we're
good.
talking about, I made a video. It's going to be on the website here, probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, and
It's fun.
it's on my
game.
YouTube channel now. And then the game itself will be linked in our show notes, and you can go check it out. It's
I literally played it for 3.5 hours
really.
in a row. I swear, I got so addicted to it. I did not want to stop.
I played for a while,
wanted
but
to
I never
go
made it
farther.
out of the forest area. That was my I was just kind of in there for a while. I didn't know the one.
I had a character die. Have you had a character die yet?
Yeah, and then you have to
No.
like try
You
to
get
save him.
You get a second chance. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's cool.
you have to type the word in to save him.
Yeah.
If you play for a while, my one qualm with it right now is that I don't know, and maybe this is just me and how I play games. I like to know that I'm progressing, but it just kind of felt like I was just meeting random monster after random monster, and I didn't know when I was going to meet the boss. If
Oh,
there was
like
a
a
way
boss,
if there was a
boss.
way to tell me you're about to complete the forest and go on to the next stage, so I knew, there's no, for me, I feel like maybe this is just a never-ending thing. I know there's more stages, but I don't know
Well,
when I'm getting there. I need that level
This
of,
is still alpha or beta, right?
yeah.
Okay, he's
new.
probably still working on this stuff. So
The biggest
you might
reason
take suggestions.
I played Call of Duty like for hours on end is because you see a level
is
bar at
comparable.
the bottom, like telling you you're almost at your next level. Keep playing, and you're like, oh my god, I got to keep playing.
Right.
With this game, I don't have that, so I'm
There's
I'm
levels.
struggling a little bit.
Yeah, there's levels.
You need that instant
there's levels
gratification,
for-
don't you?
Yeah, there's levels for
Yeah.
your character, but there's nothing telling me you're about to move on to the boss fight.
Right.
That's the one thing I'd like to see.
I'm
that
sure he'll
indicates
get there.
The boss is nearby, and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna hit the boss soon. I gotta get these guys killed so I can go fight the boss.
So you want a
I'm sure he'll
progress
get
bar
there.
of
Yeah.
some kind.
There's chests. There's traps. You have to do something for a trap. You have to do something for a chest, and then there's different kinds of things you got to kill. It'd be
It's
neat
all
to see
about spelling.
multiple creatures. That would be cool
There's
too.
a lot of different creatures in the game. I know that.
Well, I mean, multiple creatures at the same time. Like
Oh.
right now you're just fighting one
You
creature.
can
at a
have
time.
people in a party eventually.
Well, yeah, I've had 3 people in the party.
Yeah.
You
So
just take-
if that's
you
the case,
beat
you
'em.
should be able to fight partied monsters as well.
Exactly.
So-
That would be cool. And
Yeah,
then
we'll see.
like you said, a
It's-
boss.
If you want to check it out, it's it's awesome. It's just a very original, awesome concept. So it'll be linked in the show notes as always. And since we're getting close to ending the show here, we want to use this portion of the show to take time to answer your questions and your messages that may not have related to the theme of this episode or any episode. So we have a few ways you can contact us on the website. You can leave us a message. There's a text box. You can just type it in. You'll also notice there's a phone number. And that phone number leads to our Everything Noob voicemail box. And once there, you call the number and no one's going to answer. It doesn't ring anywhere. It's just a Google Voice number. And you can leave a voicemail we get it. We can play it on the show, and we have one here to play. It's just we'll call this segment, Ask the Noobs Anything. If that might cover it.
Now we hear from the Noob Nation.
Let's hear from the Noob Nation.
Exactly. So, what?
I didn't think you were going to play it.
Oh yeah, I was trying to find it, and that's why I was kind of stalling.
That one's been in the closet
Gotcha.
for a while.
Yeah, the Noob Nation. So if you ever write us or anything, this is towards the end of the show. We're going to get to those questions, comments, concerns, and we have one here. Hopefully, you guys can understand it. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Jake. There's a lot of things, like a lot of communities, how it's so hard to go in because you're being a noob. What are some ways you can think about to ease your way into a community without them harassing you? Thanks.
So basically, he said, if you couldn't hear him very well, he asked, if you're joining a new community, a new gaming community, how can you get in there without the community basically hazing you for being new?
His name was what, Jake?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's in
Shout
chat.
out to Jake. Okay.
The best way, and it's not always possible, is to have a friend who's already there and kind of like tag along with him for a while until you get a grasp on everything. But obviously, it's not always possible. Sometimes you're cold calling into a community or a game or whatever, and you're trying to convince your friends to come. I would say get involved in some forums online. You can always go to Reddit and stuff. Find people who are kind of sort of new with you and kind of run together. Eventually, you'll make other friends who are patient and just want to play for fun. And, all this while, you're gaining skill, and you're not going to get hazed anymore because you know what the F to do.
Well, I think also, to add to that, I think if I went onto a community, if I went into a server of some game or something, and the community was just awful to me, that would make me just want to go, okay. Because there's many communities out there, I'll just log off and find another one. It's just no fun when you have people doing that. I mean, even if you were to actually somehow befriend them, okay, so another new person comes on. Now you're part of that because now they're going to do the same thing to that person. I wouldn't even want to be a part of that kind of community at all. So
Yeah,
I would
agree.
definitely just back out. But like Dan here's got Vortac community, and you go on their server and everybody just says hi, hello, welcome, and it's just a very friendly community. They automatically welcome you. If you have questions or whatever, most of the people will answer you.
Well, that's the community within the Minecraft community, though.
Yeah, true. But I mean, there are games or like Rust. Trust me, I've been on a lot of Rust servers where they were just jerks. Even the actual admins on the servers were just jerks.
So you would say most of the Rust community is jerks?
I would say that a majority
Is that a fair
of them,
assessment?
especially right now. But I did find some servers, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to make my own server as well. At the time, I wanted to have my own Rust server. Because I did find some servers where there were very friendly admins, and they were there to welcome you, and nobody killed each other. It was a friendly, what they call like a friendly server. Although PvP was on, you could kill each other, and but nobody just did. They just kind of got together, helped each other, and built a little community up, and basically killed each other for fun. It was a different kind of a community. It was really cool, and they had some guidelines and rules for PvP and stuff, and they had areas where you go to actually play PvP. They had arenas and things like that. So, that's what I did. I just searched for a community that didn't treat me like a noob. That actually helped me and guided me through.
Yeah,
through
you
everything.
just gotta find the nice, patient people who are there to have fun and make friends.
I'll absolutely leave any game or community that's giving me too much crap. Like League of Legends is a great example of why I don't play it. The first bunch of games I played, all I got was crap for not knowing what I'm doing. And a game like that takes a lot of time to really. It's a crazy learning curve. So I'd say it's not worth the stress. There's better games and there's better people out there. So a lot of it depends on the community itself. If they're willing to be friendly. And that's what we pride ourselves on in our Minecraft community is we have a friendly staff. Even if the members aren't that great, which they are, but even if you had crappy members with great staff, those great staff members would rope in the crappy members.
Well, that's why I like going on
They
your
should
server
be.
and just killing people for no reason. No, I'm just kidding. I don't do that.
And Jake's saying, sorry, it was muffled because of his old iPhone. I want to say I'm going to try to look for a way for people to record from their PC and submit the recording to us that way if they don't want to use their phone. But you can use your phone right now. We do have a phone number and everything on the website. So go check that out. We got to wrap up, though. We are at time here.
All right.
But
sounds like a plan.
Thanks for joining us tonight. It's been fun. And next week's topic is going to be clones. Gaming clones, good versus bad. All about gaming clones. So if you have games that you like that were clones or games that you think should stop being cloned, feel free to send us tweets at Everything Noob. Go to the Contact Us page. Maybe that'll be a voicemail you can leave us, or you can just type in the text box there. Whatever you'd like, join in the discussion for next week. All about clones. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Everything Noob podcast. Be sure to visit everythingnoob.com for previous episodes, show notes, host bios, and blogs. And while you're there, feel free to write us with any questions, comments, or suggestions you may have. Don't forget to check out the links to our Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch TV channel as well. On behalf of the Noobs, see you next week, and happy gaming.